Dre all day.
What's up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, balloverseas.com, the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. We are back with another volume of Is This a Scam? And this one is the Chinese basketball agent scam. And yes, what I'm about to explain to you is a scam 100%. So if you start getting any emails that sound anything like what I'm about to share with you, you know that that is a potential scam. Not a scam until you fall for it, but they're trying to scam you. But if you're smart and you got this information I'm sharing with you, you won't have this problem anymore. So I want to thank, who is this guy's name? Dennis is the person who reached out to me and asked me about this, and I had him send me everything that they had sent him, and he asked my professional opinion. Was it a scam? I said absolutely 1,000% that's a scam. I'm going to explain to you what got said, what was being said, how it was written, and I'm going to give you all some tips so that you can notice these scams when they happen, so that you don't have to make any mistakes, especially with your money and your time. So first of all, a guy sent an email to Dennis. Dennis is the one who reached out to me and said, Drake, can you tell me about this? And this is what he said. The man said, my name is Evans Gate. I am a basketball agent. My agency is newly established with great connections in China. I watched your online game highlights on YouTube. I got your contact details from YouTube. I want to know if you want to play overseas or if any of your friends might be interested to play. Once you get back to me, I will forward more details to you. All right. First of all, number one, no basketball agent is just running around YouTube watching random basketball player highlights and recruiting players off their YouTube videos. I know it would be great if that actually happened. I know it's something that you dreamed about last night when you were sleeping. That does not happen. An agent is not just going to randomly show up and recruit you because they saw a random video of yours on YouTube. Another thing, in this actual email, which you all can't see, there are a whole bunch of grammatical and punctuational errors written by this guy who's supposedly an agent. An agent is a professional, right? They make money for doing this, and this person couldn't even use proper English. This is clearly some bullshit just off the first message. There's the incorrect spacing in between the sentences. There are no periods, it's just a whole bunch of commas. Person said, I watched your online game highlight on YouTube and also got your contact details from YouTube. Doesn't even say from YouTube. They misspelled the word from. I want to know if you want to play overseas, not overseas, overseas, or if you know any of your friend, not friends, but friend, who might be interested to play. So this person is saying, do you want to play overseas? I watched your video. That part is reasonable. Then the other part is not reasonable, but is at least reasonable if you don't know anything. Then they say, do any of your friends want to play overseas? So I think you're good, but if one of your friends want to play overseas, I'll hook them up too. Makes no sense. All right, no agent says let me sign one of your friends just because you're good. All right, if I'm friends with LeBron, that don't mean I'm good. That don't mean I'm 6'8". That don't mean I can jump 40 inches in the air. That means he can. So no agent is going to recruit you and say, well, do any of your friends want to play too? All right, that is some bullshit. That's the first message. Dennis wrote this guy back. I'm not going to read what he said, but I'll read the next response from this quote-unquote agent, and this whole thing is a scam. Okay, the second thing the guy said. The agent says the contract is for 1 season, which is 4 months long, and the team is willing to pay you 85,000 Chinese yuan, which in American dollars is $12,000 a month. So they're offering him a $12,000 a month contract, and if you impress the team, they will increase your salary, and there are also other benefits, such as a 2-bedroom furnished apartment with internet, a private care transportation, private car, I believe that's what's supposed to say. It says care, it's supposed to be a car, 3 square meals a day, medical and insurance. Those are 2 different things. That's the same thing. Medical and insurance are the same thing. Travel allowance, a weekly allowance. Basically, they're going to give you a stipend to spend money with. Match bonuses, meaning if you play well in the game, you make extra money for winning games. And you get free access to telephone call and gym facilities. Now, if you're playing professional basketball, free access to a gym is kind of like, all right, why do you even need to sell me on that? But I can understand reasonably maybe why they would need to say that. Maybe they just mean outside of practice and things like that. Then they say players are expected to report to the team in China on July 7th as a replacement for an outgoing player. So basically they're looking for somebody to replace a player that's already leaving in the middle of July as a replacement in the middle of this whole COVID thing, especially in China coming from the USA. None of these things add up. Next thing that this agent says, it's still part of the same message. They ask, do you have an online game highlight and do you have a valid passport for traveling? Now, if you recall the first message that this agent sent, this quote-unquote agent sent, they said, I watched the video on YouTube and I was impressed. Then they asked, do you have an online game highlight? So you already saw the footage of me playing, and you were impressed enough that you're getting all this information. Now you're asking me for my online highlight. Now, a game film and an online highlight could be two different things. We don't really know from the context of this, but this is, again, more context clues. This is bullshit. Now, if you're an emotionally driven person who's serious about playing professional basketball, your emotions may be hooked in at this point, and you want to believe this, but you should not believe this because, as I just told you, this is bullshit. They continue on and say, I'll forward you a copy of the team new membership form, which you will fill out and send back to me. Then I'll send it to the team. The team will use that information to prepare a form for your contract agreement, and the team will pay for your flight. So everything just sounds great. And they even include a link to allegedly a basketball team that they would be playing for. I didn't see the link. Then this guy says, the agent, I need a free agent player who I can represent. Lastly, corona cases have been reduced back to normal. Everything is back to normal. The corona cases have been reduced to nothing. That's what this person says here. Challenge is you're coming from the United States where corona cases are not nothing, and any agent worth $1 would know that at this point, especially what we got going on in the basketball world and the world in general. So Dennis, the player, again responds. This is what the guy says. The agent says the next thing he says. Send me your recent game highlight so I can send that to the team for a decision. And as for your passport, we will assist with you backup documents to get your passport secured in less than 5 days, because this player who sent me this information, he did not have a passport. Now, if you're trying to play basketball overseas and you don't have a passport, that's for any player out there. And I told Dennis this directly. What the hell are you doing? You can't play overseas without a passport. You can't go overseas without a passport. You cannot leave the country without a passport. If you want to play professional basketball, get your goddamn passport and get it like yesterday. Not today, yesterday. So anyway, this person says, we can help you get your passport secured in less than 5 days. That is bullshit. No, they can't. Nobody outside of the United States, especially this person, he's not even American, I don't think, he's going to help you get a passport in 5 days. Nobody can get a passport in 5 days. So it's going to take you about 30 to 60 days to get a passport right now, and you can't even pay for the expedited service due to COVID-19 because there are fewer government employees available to work. So, and that's as of the summer of 2020. So nobody's getting you a passport in 5 days. Not in the United States. Maybe in China they can pull some strings, but in the U.S. for a basketball player, no, that's not happening. Anyway, Dennis wrote this guy back. Then the agent says, I just forwarded your highlights to the team so they can go through it. They'll let me know. Just pray and hope they gives us a positive answer. Again, the grammatical errors continue throughout all these emails. So this person can't be from America. So they ain't got no juice in America to get you anything, especially a basketball agent, get a passport. Hell no. Anyway, here's the last thing that this person said before Dennis sent the information to me. And then I told him it was some bullshit and that they're going to ask you for something eventually. Anyway, here's the last message from the agent. How are you doing? The team watched your highlight. They were impressed. They told me they want to work with you, but they need the following information. We need your name. We need your passport number, but your passport's in process. They already had that. We need your age. We need your physical mailing address where we're going to send you your documents, and we need your phone number. And also take note, all this information will be on your contract. And then the agent asks, here's what the agent asks at the end. Are you a free agent? After all that information, the agent finally asks, are you a free agent in basketball? What if the player's already signed to a contract? Are you a free agent? Makes no sense whatsoever. All right, so is this a scam? All right, class, let's all say it together. Yes, this is 1,000% a scam. All right, this is not something to trust. You do not need to give them any information. Had Dennis continued to giving them that information, they will have your information. I don't think there's anything compromising they can do with that. But eventually, this is what I told Dennis, what happens in situations like this, they eventually ask you for something. They'll eventually say something like, oh, well, is this like $150 fee that you're going to need to pay to us so we could do this and this and this? It's going to sound really believable. And you're going to need to send it through like Western Union or some untraceable payment source through cash for a cash pickup. That's how they get their money. And that's all they're after in this whole thing. And they will send, and you might wonder, well, Dre, why would somebody send all these emails back and forth if they're only after $150 or $300 or some small amount of money? Well, the thing is, this is a scheme. It's an elaborate scheme. They, first of all, find somebody who is willing and gullible enough to continue going back and forth, giving all their information, and they're hooking you in with something that you are emotionally invested in, which is your professional basketball career. So by the time they get to the point that they're asking you for something, you are like 90% sure this is real, and you're about to get a contract to go make $12,000 a year, $12,000 a month to go play basketball in China. That's how they get you hooked in. They just came with one email and said, hey, send me $150 for this fee and I'll get you a deal in China. You'd be like, no, this is bullshit. You would delete it. But after they get you going back and forth, they got you responding to stuff. They got you giving your information. None of it seems like too risky at all. And you get emotionally involved. That's when they hit you with it. And that's where the scam comes in. The only thing they're after is that money. And I want you to understand, all you ball players out there, if you have game footage out on YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever, or any type of profile online, people will send you messages like this. And what they're going to do is they send this message to 300 basketball players. So this guy, Dennis, he was one of 300 players that got the exact same message, is the exact same sequence. So whoever responds to the first one, they get the second email. Whoever responds to the second, they get the third email. And then it just keeps going. And probably by email number 8, 9, or 10, that's when they ask for the money. Not everybody's going to make it all the way through the funnel. It's basically a sales funnel. Some people are going to drop off and not respond to the first one. Some people drop off about halfway through. Some people make it all the way to the end and they balk at it. Maybe a few people, 5 or 6 people, might end up going through the whole thing and actually paying that $150 and getting burned. And that $150 times 5 or 6 people, boom, they made a nice little come up there off a simple ass email scam of a bunch of desperate basketball players. That's how they do it. Now let's go over some fact checks here. First of all, if you are an entry-level player, meaning you don't have agents knocking down your door, you don't have teams coming asking to sign you, you don't have a solid resume, like you didn't play high-level college ball and you don't have a pro resume yet, and you're trying to play overseas, of course you can play overseas, because I was that player and I played overseas, and there are many others who I know who did play overseas from that situation. However, let's be clear, no team's going to offer you $12,000 a month for your first job, and that's your situation. That's not happening. No team in no country in the world is offering you 12 grand a month as an entry-level job unless you are coming out of like a D1 school where you were All-American, or you already have NBA experience, or you already been playing overseas somewhere. Secondly, China. Y'all pay attention to who plays in China. What kind of players end up playing basketball in China? All right, those of y'all who want to play overseas should know this information. Y'all should be following what's going on in the game. You know who goes and plays in China? People like Nate Robinson, Andre Blatch, players who have been, what was the other guy's name? I can't remember. Pooh Jeter. There are a few other guys, Mike Beasley. Those are the kind of players that end up playing in China. You know who they are? They are players who have NBA experience. For whatever reason, they're an NBA free agent, couldn't get a deal in the league, but they have a career in the league already. They go over to China and get a big bag playing in China, just because China likes to sign ex-NBA players so they can leverage that name, bring in fans, and that player goes to score 30, 40 points a game. That's what happens in China. The players playing in China are not all guys you might know from the NBA. There are some college guys that didn't play in the league that I know of that are playing in China right now. But they sign D1 players who were scoring a whole lot of points in D1, or guys who have played in the NBA. All right, if you're entry level, China is not looking at you. They're not even thinking about you to play in China. So these are things that you need to know as factual pieces of information, or we can call them truths, because maybe things will change in China, so we don't say it's a fact, but truths that you need to understand about what goes on in the overseas world. Another thing, if an agent is reaching out to you and offering you a way that they can get you a deal for 12 grand a month, all right, that's serious money. $12,000 a month is serious money, right? That's $150,000 a year if you're making that every single month. Here's the thing. Any agent that's negotiating that type of business in any industry, basketball, anything, they're going to know how to use proper grammar. They're going to know how to compose an email. They will know how to use proper English. They will represent themselves properly. And here's another thing this agent never did. They never told you the name of their agency. If an agent is representing an agency, they will say, this is the name of my agency. Here's a link to my agency. Here's where you can see me. Here's where you can see my roster of players. Here's where you can see what I'm about. And if they're getting you a $12,000 deal, let me guarantee you something else. Any agent getting you a deal for 12 grand a month is going to speak to you on the phone. Maybe even a FaceTime or a Skype call so they can look you in your face. For 12 grand a month, all right, that's a face-to-face conversation. All right, whenever I do speaking gigs and I book a speaking gig for that kind of money, all right, there's a face-to-face something that happens there. A phone conversation, at the least a phone conversation, and a bunch of back and forths happen if somebody's spending 5 figures on anything. Basketball, business world, anything. So do not get scammed. Is this a scam? Absolutely, it's a scam. Should you get caught on this scam? Not as of this moment, because I just told you that's a scam. And if you get caught on this, you're stupid, because I just laid it out for you. Now, if you do not yet have this book, it's called the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. If you don't have this book, that means only one thing. You have not claimed your free copy of this book, because yes, I made this book free for a limited time. where you can, all you have to do is take care of the shipping. You get a 237-page book that tells you everything you need to know about starting or furthering your professional basketball career. It is called the Overseas Basketball Blueprint. Get this book at balloverseas.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.